Sheikh Hamdan speaks, not loudly today, not proudly today, but honestly today. He asks softly now for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes of your life. He knows time is expensive today, more than money, more than pride. He knows scrolling never really stops. Thumbs keep moving, hearts stay empty. So listen, please. Just listen now, without judgment today, without distraction today. He says something no leader admits, no ruler confesses, no crown reveals. He says success can still feel hollow, palaces feel empty, rooms echo loneliness. He says power does not hug, power does not hold you crying. He says titles sleep beside nobody, awards feel cold at midnight hours. He says youth runs very fast, faster than camels, faster than dreams. He says regrets walk very slowly, they always arrive right on time. He says people clap loudly today, then disappear tomorrow without explanation ever. He says loyalty is extremely rare, rarer than diamonds, rarer than gold. He says love cannot be bought, cannot be forced, cannot be rushed. He says fathers hide their fears behind strong shoulders and silent prayers. He says mothers carry worlds inside without ever complaining, without asking credit. He says children grow while waiting for attention moments we never give. He says phones stole our dinners, stole our presents, stole our souls. He says silence between loved ones kills faster than any loud fight. He says apologies should arrive early, not after funerals, not after graves. He says pride destroys relationships before enemies ever even notice damage. He says ego whispers lies softly, telling you leave, telling you win. He says humility opens ever a door, even locked hearts, even broken homes. He says men are taught strength but never emotions, never vulnerability. He says women are called emotional, yet carry storms without falling apart. He says marriage is not pictures, not captions online, not public perfection. He says marriage is patience daily, forgiving silently, choosing repeatedly. He says promises mean nothing spoken, everything practiced daily, consistently. He says faith is not display, not loud speeches, not perfect appearances. He says faith is midnight tears when nobody sees except your Creator. He says prayers without sincerity are empty movements, tiring the body. He says sincerity turns small prayers into miracles beyond imagination. He says charity cleans hidden sins we forgot committing, we denied remembering. He says kindness returns multiplied, not immediately maybe, but inevitably always. He says arrogance pushes blessings away, even earned blessings, even deserved ones. He says gratitude invites abundance in unseen ways, from unseen doors. He says wealth tests character deeply, more than poverty, more than hunger. He says poverty teaches patience, but wealth reveals true intentions quickly. He says friendships are mirrors honestly. They show truth. We avoid facing. He says enemies sometimes teach lessons friends never dared to tell you. He says criticism hurts immature hearts but saves futures for wise listeners. He says comfort creates weak spirits while struggle forges unbreakable souls. He says pain introduces purpose without warning signs, without gentle timing. He says tears water inner growth, though they burn while falling down. He says patience is not waiting, it is behaving while waiting calmly. He says anger destroys seconds that peace built over many years. He says forgiveness frees the forgiver before freeing others, before healing wounds. He says revenge feels sweet briefly, then poisons sleep for years ahead. He says peace is real success, not applause noise, not crowded rooms. He says solitude teaches self-honesty. Loud crowds distract from inner voices. He says goals without values collapse. Success without ethics rots from inside. He says leadership starts with listening, not commanding others, not showing authority. He says respect cannot be demanded. It is earned through consistent actions. He says legacy is written silently by daily behavior, not final speeches. He says death does not announce, does not negotiate, does not reschedule. He says tomorrow is an illusion, sold cheaply today, stolen brutally later. He says today is only certainty. Breathe it fully. Use it wisely. He says if you are hurting someone you love, stop immediately now. He says if you owe apology, send it today without conditions attached. He says if you miss parents, call them now before silence wins. He says if faith feels distant, return gently home without shame today. He says if you feel lost, slow down life, not speed further. He says if money controls you, remember its purpose, remember its limits. He says if success changed you, meet your old self and apologize quietly. He says remember who helped you before spotlight moments, before validation arrived. He says remember who stayed silent when you failed publicly, when shame surrounded. He says remember kindness. It costs nothing but changes everything forever permanently. He says remember life is show. He returns quietly, not for applause, not for praise, but for truth. He knows you stayed. After part one, curiosity holding you, reflection slowing you. He smiles gently because staying matters. Attention is love. Listening is respect. He says, welcome back. You chose awareness over distraction again. That choice matters. He says now deeper, not softer today, because real growth sometimes hurts first. He says breathe slowly, let guards down, no one watching, no one judging. He says hearts carry heavy stories, smiles hide wars, eyes hide oceans. He says everyone you admire publicly fights privately nightly, battles you never see. He says comparison kills inner peace, steals gratitude silently, robs joy daily. He says social media shows highlights only, never the breakdowns, never the prayers. He says stop measuring your worth today with filtered lives and staged happiness. He says your journey is custom designed, not mass produced, not rushed ever. He says delays are not denials, they are preparation for stronger handling. He says sometimes God pauses plans to protect you from unseen harm. He says trust timing even when confused, even when hurting, even when tired. He says impatience pushes wrong doors that open temporarily, then collapse painfully. He says waiting with faith intact is advanced worship. Few truly master. He says your heart knows truth already, but fear argues loudly every time. He says fear sounds logical sometimes, but leads nowhere except regret eventually. He says courage is not loudness, it is obedience. Despite uncertainty, he says dreams need discipline daily, not motivation speeches, not sudden excitement. He says talent without consistency fades, while effort compounds quietly, relentlessly. He says show up even unmotivated days, especially boring days, especially painful days. He says success visits hard-working rooms where nobody claps, where nobody records. He says loneliness during growth seasons is completely normal, not a punishment. He says isolation protects transformation from noisy opinions, from energy thieves. He says some people cannot follow you into new versions of your destiny. He says release them without bitterness, please, without long explanations, without burning bridges. He says maturity is letting go, without proving points, without winning arguments. He says not everyone deserves access to your vulnerabilities, to your vision. He says boundaries are self-respect, not selfishness labels, not arrogance signs. He says peace requires protection daily from chaos lovers, from drama seekers. He says stop oversharing your future plans to small minds with limited faith. He says celebrate quietly, build silently first, announce results later, let actions speak. He says remember this, noise fades quickly, results stay forever, silence builds legends. He says criticism will always exist if you rise or if you hide. He says choose wisely, between growing painfully or regretting silently, forever quietly. He says your past cannot be edited, but lessons extracted, if humility allows. He says, forgive yourself for old mistakes. You were learning, you were surviving. He says, shame is heavy luggage. Drop it today. Travel lighter forward. He says, guilt after repentance ends. Do not reopen wounds God already healed. He says, mercy is wider oceans than your failures, than your fears. He says, never doubt divine forgiveness reach, because hopelessness insults his infinite mercy. He says, pray differently, not for ease, but for strength to handle destiny. He says, comfort makes weak prayers, desperation makes honest, earth-shaking prayers. He says, broken hearts pray truest words, without grammar perfection, without performance acts. He says, God listens to trembling voices more than confident speeches, more than rehearsed lines. He says, midnight changes people permanently when prayers meet tears, when masks fall. He says, protect nights. They shape mornings. They define character. They forge resilience. He says, success mornings begin with disciplined nights, sleeping with gratitude, waking with purpose. He says, control tongue, especially during anger, because words wound deeper than weapons. He says, silence sometimes is highest wisdom, stronger than responses, stronger than shouting. He says, arguments rarely change minds, but kindness disarms even hardest hearts. He says, choose peace over proving right. Choose calm dignity over temporary victory. He says, your character is loudest speech when nobody watching, when power tempts you. He says, integrity is doing right without witnesses present, without rewards promised. He says, money reveals real priorities. Watch spending habits, they never lie. He says, invest more in experiences meaningful, less in validation from strangers online. He says, buy memories, not unnecessary impressing. Moments outlive possessions, forever timelessly. He says, family time is sacred currency, once spent, gone, never refundable again. He says, hug parents while arms exist, while voices answer, while doors open. He